One other method we can use when we're applying Gameline paints is just using brush. So whether I'm doing 2-inch lines, whether I'm doing a larger area, again, if I've got poor drying conditions, if I've got a color that I'm putting down that's real difficult to cover, I find the brush is one, easier to maneuver in detail areas, holds and puts down a little more paint probably than the roller, and gives me a little bit smoother finish. So, and usually I'm just working right out of the bucket. You don't need a paint pan. It's easier to just pull the bucket with you. And again, I'm not slopping this stuff around. I'm trying to take my time, you know, just get a little on the brush at a time. I want to make sure I'm not getting drips onto the rest of the floor. But the brush just puts it down so nice. And I'm using, again, as we always say, just fingertip pressure. I'm not trying to really mash this stuff down into the floor. If I'm feathering from this side, I'm taking that real low angle. If I'm feathering from this side, I'm taking off like an airplane when I get back into my wet where I want to feather. And I just find I got a lot of control with this, a lot easier to control a brush than the roller a lot of times, especially if you're in a tight area. You're on logos with a lot of detail on that color, and you just need a little more precision, or you've got a color that doesn't cover very well. To me, the brush puts it on smoother, maybe a little bit thicker, or at least more evenly than the roller is going to do. So I really like the brush and am mindful to use it in places where I know it's going to be a benefit. Even though it may be a little bit slower as you're going, if I know it's going to save me a full coat though, because it's putting it on a little smoother and heavier, it's definitely worth it because I've got that time of a full coat that I'm cutting out. And then again, on bigger areas, you're using a bigger brush. Although on bigger areas, I find that the rolling and brushing back probably is optimal, because I think it's a little bit easier to have the roller put the product out there for you. And then you can always come back and get your details and your smoothing and stuff with the brush. But if you're working by yourself, just using brush by itself might be the best way to go. You can always turn the brush at an angle if you've got to really kind of get down a side or some detail area you want to make sure you don't slop, because there I'm reducing the width of my brush there to that width instead of this. And you know, you've got everything in between too, depending on how you angle your brush. And I'm usually, you know, bringing it forward to spread the paint and then reversing to feather back. So forward to spread, reverse to feather back. You get in a good rhythm like that, and you'll find that you can be really pretty efficient even just with the brush by itself. Look back over your work, see that you've got everything feathered out, you've hit all the edges, you're good to go, and that's applying with just a brush. 2-inch or 1.5 inch for your game lines, obviously something bigger for your larger areas.